Hey folks, the weather this weekend is not really fishing friendly, so I thought I would review the camera I've had out with me on the water over these last few months. This is the Contour Roam 2. This little guy is what's called an action camera, similar to a GoPro. It's made to record video of sports or driving or anything with action. So let me run through the features and I'll tell you what I like and what I don't. So first off, this camera is light and easy to handle. I haven't had a situation yet where it was too heavy or bulky to do what I needed to do. It just fits. The size and weight make it pretty easy to mount. The camera comes with different mounting options, including the type I use, which is the standard 1/4" 20 screw mount here on the bottom. I got about 5 or 6 different ways I can mount this on my hat, on my kayak, other places that all mount right here in at the screw mount. I can mount it almost anywhere, and it is easy to move from place to place. I've been pleased with this aspect of the cam. It also has a unique mounting system that slides up the sides here with this doohickey here like this. I haven't used this, out in the field, but it seems best suited for like a helmet. But I may try this method in the future if I feel the need. Another unique feature of this camera is the rotatable lens. This is important if you want to mount the camera in a different orientation, sideways or upside down. And you still have to have up be up, if that makes any sense. You just rotate here to change the filming horizon. You can see there. And an aid for this is the laser level that you can activate by pushing this button on the back. You can see that you can adjust to the horizon there. And it lets you know if you've adjusted the rotation level to the ground, on your mount, whatever your mount is. So it's pretty neat. I haven't used this feature yet either, but I probably will when I'm put it in a different direction. So operation. So to turn it on, you only have to slide this switch forward. That's it. It's on. There's a brief 1 or 2 second lag from the time you turn it on to when it actually starts recording. You can be sure it's on by checking for the red light on the camera, which is what I do. You can also set the camera to beep once on for on and twice for off, but I can see the light, so I don't really need that feature, and so I've disabled the beeping on this camera. After it's on, there really isn't anything else to do except point in the right direction and do whatever you're going to do. To change the settings on the camera, you need to attach it through the included USB cord to your computer. The camera comes with software called Contour Storyteller, which can be used to change settings, download the videos, and even edit. I don't use it to edit, but I do use it to change settings and download. It's pretty easy to use. The settings you can control are the screen resolution, the sound settings, the beeping, as I mentioned earlier, and where you can store the files. I have this set to record in 720p, 30 frames per second to save battery, and it also saves storage on the card. You can set it up for 1080p, 30 frames per second, or 720, 60 frames. But you can only do that when the camera's plugged into the computer. So, there's no way to change the settings just on the camera. You have to have it plugged into the computer. I haven't really found that to be a problem, but other people might have an issue with that. One of the things I've learned using this camera is that the sound portion of video recording is almost more complicated than the video part. I know from my research that action camera sound, especially in like the GoPro, can be pretty bad. But I've been pleasantly surprised at how good the Roam 2 has been. It took me a while to figure out how to record to get the quality I wanted, though. The microphone is this little hole right here, that's it, but it gets good sound. One setting that I use on this camera is to set the sound to a dynamic range, which means it adjusts the high and the low end based on how loud the sound is that it's receiving. It's complicated, I know. Long story short, once I learned how to deal with wind noise and account for loud noise, I've been very happy with how the sound comes straight out of this camera with no other equipment. Well, while on the subject, the image quality has been good too. One thing is this camera has a wide angle lens. It's 170 degrees, so almost, half the hemisphere, or almost a hemisphere. This means it picks up a wide view and doesn't miss much. I've also never had trouble with quick movements, which makes sense. It's an action cam. Let's see. Things that this camera struggles with. One area is low light. I'll put on the screen here a video that I took a few weeks ago, and it looks, pretty much pitch black. And it was dark, but the human eye, I could see actually okay still, even though it was getting dark. So you can see the difference between, what I would consider sort of dusk and what this camera sees as almost dark. The other struggle is with distant shots. I've seen a lot of really interesting wildlife while I'm out there. Well, interesting for suburban area. But it really doesn't show up very well unless you get really close. It doesn't have a zoom. It's just not designed for anything that's in the distance. So, I've thought I've gotten good shots in the past that turned out to be not so good just because they were too far away. But overall, the video has been, pretty good for what I need it for, and it's pretty much set it up and forget it, and not a problem. So let's see, storage. This camera stores video as an MP4 file type, and it stores the clips on a micro SD. You can see here it's stored right here on the back. It actually comes with a 4 gig card, but after going out one time and having the video cut out after about 45 minutes of videoing, I went ahead and got a 32 gig, which, $12 or something. It wasn't expensive. And I've never run out of space since I had the 32 gig on there. I've also never run out of power. The specs say that this will get you 3 hours of battery life, but I know I've recorded for more than 3 hours with no problem. I don't think I've quite gotten to 4, but at least 3. I guess one day probably I'll set it up and run it out and see actually how long it actually records for, just so I know. You charge it through this USB cord, and it takes about, I want to say 90 minutes or so to charge after a full use or a nearly full use. And it takes about 20 minutes to download the videos. You can download at the same time you're charging. So, and it goes down through the cord same way. And then let's see, another thing to think about with this camera is it's waterproof, down to 10 feet at least. That's what it claims. And it doesn't need a case or anything. GoPro needs a case. This doesn't need a case. Now, it doesn't float, but I have rigged up this little homemade accessory here. Here you can see right there, and it provides flotation, and boy, stylish too, right? Well, not a good sense of style, but a sense of style of some sort. This is just a cut up pool noodle and matching rubber bands. So total flotation investment, $0. Okay, so this is the Contour Roam. I have Roam 2. I only have one right now, but I'm probably going to get a second one in the near future. They come in 3 colors, green like this one. They also have blue and black. I got this one through Amazon for $90, which is another reason that I really like this camera. The cheapest GoPro is about $150, and the nicer ones can run up toward 500. You know, it's hard to beat 90 bucks. And actually, the price fluctuates, but the other day it was down to 85. And the price for some reason varies depending on the color, but whatever. There's also a Contour Roam 3, which is, you know, the same camera pretty much, but it adds on a few other bells and whistles. I think it has GPS and Wi-Fi, but I didn't feel like I needed those right now. So, well, so my bottom line review is that the Contour Roam 2 is it's light, durable, waterproof, easy to use, quality, has a good picture, has a great sound, and has a really reasonable price. I recommend this camera for anyone's action camera needs. So there you have it. Well, hopefully the weather will be more cooperative next week. But in the meantime, thanks for watching.